it's Ben in Beta, and tonight we have something special. We're doing a DIYTuber get-together after the first month of DIYTuber, and I'm excited to have everybody together. So hello, everybody. I don't know, let's go from my, I guess, this side here, and we'll just say hello. So Eileen, I think you're first.
Hello, Eileen with So Clean Detailing.
Greetings, everyone. Oscar with OK Detailing.
Yvan, resident old guy.
Hey guys, this is Will from Will's White Care.
What's up, Will? Nick from DIYDetail, and Ben, I can tell you're an educator. Like you've got us all in like a circle. We're all getting ready to do some things. We're doing the icebreaker now.
That's right. That's right. It's organization's important.
Yeah.
For sure. So welcome and thank you for taking some time out of your evening to do this. I thought it'd be kind of cool just to get together and talk about how the experience is going so far, give out a few tips, maybe talk about some of the recent product launches from DIYDetail as well. And hopefully people found this super interesting. But first question, what's been the most difficult thing for everybody in DIYTuber so far? Like, you know, what have you found kind of difficult to do with this competition thus far? And I'll start. Let's go Will, Oscar, and then Eileen. Putting Will on the spot.
Oh, I thought you said you're going to start.
Oh, I can start. That's totally fine. I'll start. Okay. What have I found difficult? Honestly, it's the beginning of the competition was difficult for me because I was 1,100 miles away from my home. I just decided before I left to bring all of my stuff with me, and I applied for the competition as I was on the road, basically. And it worked out. So that was great. But I was missing a lot of my things that I would normally use. And that was pretty difficult, I would say. And then that made kind of shooting schedule a little bit harder. But just being away from home and not having all of my detailing stuff was a little bit difficult. But it worked out really well because I got to share detailing with my really good friend Brian and with my nephew. So it worked out really well. I was able to share my passion for detailing with them. So that was cool. So now I'll throw it to Will. You're next.
Thanks, Ben. Well, for me, I think the hardest part is probably the topics that we get every week. We have to follow a certain prompt, and we release a video that's about that specific topic. So before, when I was making videos, I just kind of make anything I want, anything I think of, and I can go by my own schedule. But now there's a certain schedule, and we have to make that specific topic, make a video on that, and then we have to come up with our own spin with it. So to come up with, to make it a little more unique. So I think that's been the more difficult part, to make that, even though we all get the same topic, you gotta make it a little more different. So it's not just that vanilla same old video that you've seen 1,000 times. So yeah, I would say that's the most difficult part.
That is difficult. And you get the topic first. So you're always the first one to know what's going on because you're the first in the week.
I guess I do.
Yeah, the rest of us have to wait. So yeah, I'm going to pop this over then to Oscar, and we'll go from there. And then Eileen.
So for me, it's been meeting the deadline. As you guys know, I had a little hiccup with 2 of the videos. One of them because I was using CapCut on my phone, and for whatever reason, it exported it to like a tiny screen versus CapCut on my MacBook. So that was a problem. But meeting the deadline because I have a newborn, and helping my wife, you know, as much as I can, because she's with the baby the whole time, and it is very exhausting and time consuming. So just for me, meeting the deadline, I can see the double-edged sword of the thing that Will said about having to do a specific topic, but at the same time, I think it's actually cool because you don't have to think about a topic because the topic is chosen. So you just have to think about what to do, like the ideas of that topic. So it kind of helps out that, you know, they give you a topic to choose to do.
Cool. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. I agree. Like having a newborn, it's very difficult. It's going to make things hard. So I'm glad things are going well. Oscar let us know that he's actually getting some sleep every night. So that's fantastic.
At least 2
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. I'm getting 4 right now, so I'm lucky.
Enjoy it. Eileen, what's been most difficult for you so far?
I think the two biggest challenges for me is really time management, kind of what Oscar said. So trying to coordinate recording the content and editing the content around like personal life and then also like the business life. So I think that's probably the biggest. And then when it comes to editing, trying to work with my OCD, because if not, I'll sit there for like 14 hours trying to perfect like every single thing, and watching the video like 15,000 times and still seeing something wrong that I could tweak. So it's definitely challenging those two parts of it. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Those are hard.
so far the 4 of you have done a great job with that. And one of the reasons we put a time constraint and also the topic is to grow your YouTube channel, you need to be consistent. That is one of the things. If you talk to Pan and some of the other creators that have 500,000 and a million, they will tell you you have to follow a schedule, and that schedule is very important. That's what's helped Nick and I grow as well, is by having that schedule. People know that Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time there's a DIY video, and they can tune in, watch the premiere, and or when they get home from work they know it's there. So that has helped, and that's one of the things we try to teach to the DIY tubers, is to have that schedule.
I don't know what else to say besides it is that difficult when you have a family and a business and maybe another job to do this, because now this is my full-time thing, is editing content. And there's still times where there's friction, right? Of like, oh, I wanted this to be great and I don't know if it is, and I don't know how to make this intro right. And I think that's the creative process. And there's also the it's got to be done. So the schedule part that Yvan really imposed and the creativity that I bring, I think they mix well. So just lean into the schedule. Structure is freedom. This is a free thing you're doing. You don't have to pay for it. It's like a little school, and you all get to you'll be done in a few months, whatever. But like, just enjoy it. Do the best you can with it. The discomfort is part of the growth, and just know that you're on the right track, because it's not easy. Like this editing thing, it can take as much of you as you'll give.
Absolutely.
And
Oscar, how long have you?
that's like a
Go ahead,
message to
Victor.
all content creators out there, is like there is going to be friction to get this done. It's never going to be like, oh, I have all the time in the world to do everything in the day. It's like you have to make sacrifices to create the content usually.
Oscar, when did you start your channel? When did you start putting out content? I'm just curious because you have the most subscribers from the 4 of us.
So I started in late 2020. I would say around maybe around September, anywhere from July to September, I think. So I've had it for a little bit over 3 years, close to 4 years.
Yeah, and I'm just over a year and just crossed the 1,000 mark a little bit ago. I'm at almost 1,100 at this point. The last month has actually accelerated the subscriber count, which has been great for me too. But I don't know if you guys get this a lot, but I get a ton of SEO Instagram things. Your SEO is terrible. Let me help you with this. I'll pay me some money. I bet I get this once a week or something like that. So I don't know if the rest of
Yeah.
you find that as well.
Absolutely.
Get those messages.
Yeah.
Delete. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate that. The next question, we're going to go from Yvan back to B this time. And the next question is like, what have you learned from the DIYTuber experience so far? So from your end, Yvan and Nick, what have you guys learned through a couple of rounds of this now? And then from us, what have we learned so far from the experience? So I'll start with Yvan.
So what I've learned primarily is the interaction and how everyone tries and really wants to help each other out. And that to me has been a great thing. When we started this, we didn't know how the interaction between the contestants would be. Would it be a adversarial thing or all together? And I'm very happy to say that in the 2 rounds we've had so far, everyone is helping each other out. And the first round of DIYTubers are continuing to help each other out as well, which has been a nice thing to see.
That's cool.
Yeah, for
Will?
me, I think the one surprising thing that I learned is that how supportive that whose dog is that?
Not mine.
Not
Am I
mine.
the only one hearing that?
Not me.
Well, anyway, I think the most surprising thing is that how supportive everyone's been, because whenever we go into these premieres, am I the only one who's hearing that?
No, I'm hearing the dog too.
There's a
Eileen,
dog
do you have a
somewhere.
dog?
I don't know whose it is, but it's
No,
not
my
mine.
dogs
It's
are
yours.
sleeping.
It sounds like it's from you, Will, but you say it's
There
not.
is
I don't
no
know.
way. Anyway, yeah, it's, whenever we tune into these premieres, we always see these same people, and like we see Franco there, we see Humberto there, we see Mike there, David. So everyone's always there supporting each other. So that's one thing I did not expect going to the competition, DIYTuber, and I think that also has helped us a lot and gave us a lot more confidence when we post our videos and host these premieres. So that's really what I found.
And I'm just noticing how hard everybody works, and just realizing the secret to success is just the work. You put in the work. It's not a secret, right? Like, the variable is the work you put in, and no one here is making excuses. You're putting in the time. You're getting out of your comfort zone. You have a newborn. You're not sleeping. You're meeting deadlines. I mean, it is what it is. But it's cool to see. It's cool to see everybody grinding, and just to remember, like, seeing the behind the scenes, and then what goes on, YouTube is like, the quality comes from the hard work. And so if you're at home and you think this stuff is easy, just realize that it's not. You don't have to care if you don't want to, but just know that this does take a lot of work. And I'm just appreciating that, watching everybody here. So,
Oscar?
Awesome. So, well, I like the whole journey, to be honest, and some of the things that were already mentioned. Having to meet a deadline does definitely push you, and as Nick was mentioning, very rightly so, most people don't realize what it. Even like myself, before I did YouTube, you thought that it's just putting up a camera, recording, uploading, and you become famous. And then when you get to do it, it's nothing like that at all. There's hours of editing, and like, I'm sure this happened to everybody, but this happened to me last week. So I had my microphone, DJI mic, and it's a very specific thing where if you don't push the thing all the way in, it doesn't record. So 3 shots, I was 7 minutes into a video, and I'm gonna cut there, and I go check my phone, and because it's already happened in the past, and I look at the video and it wasn't recording at all. So it was devastating, and I was
that's
having
never
to meet
happened.
a dead.
That's never
okay.
happened to us, right, Ivan?
No, no.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, it's horrible. And
No,
I'm
it
like,
happened.
okay, I have a deadline to meet with the client, and I have to make the video by 5 p.m. So it's like that. This past week, it was just like, oh my gosh, it was 3 times too. So I was like, this mic sucks. Thankfully, the new iPhone 16 has I just found out it has studio worthy microphones, and I checked out the thing, and it's actually is really good. So now I know how to use that. I technically don't need the DJI mic anymore. It would be better, but it's that good that. Anyways, besides the point, I don't want to get off the topic, but yeah, just enjoying the process of meeting the deadline and helping each other. Like Will said, so many people I really appreciate. The ones that are always constantly there, that they don't have to. They have busy lives and busy schedules, but they're always there supporting. And the whole community, also the wisdom that Ivan imparts. And then Nick, he has a great way of like filling in all the like variables and explaining and kind of helping like the general public understand things too. Like, so he plays a really amazing role that doesn't get talked about a lot. And I want to praise him for that, because he dumbs it down, he explains it, he clarifies, he filibusters. Like he like the dynamic is really awesome between two, and just being part of it. I'm just so grateful.
Well, it's fun to see everybody out there, actually making videos and creating, because then y'all are doing kind of what I'm doing too. So I feel like, we're kind of brothers and sisters in arms. It's a labor of love, and every once in a while you get this video that hits, and it feels really good. Like all of my hard work is worth it. And but yeah, no, Ivan always preaches we do this to educate, right? And so I always try to make it a little entertaining as well. And Ivan, what is your take on that? Like as DIY tubers, because there's so much educational content out there already. Like where do these folks just up and coming play a role in the education space with all these education videos already out there?
There's a lot of education videos, but if you look at the, I'm subscribed to 200 and some channels, and I monitor them on a regular basis. And a lot of it is product related. It's, here's how this product performed. It's not, here's how I use this product. And that to me is what we've done differently. We actually, how many times have we used Rinseless Wash or Incredible Suds? But every time we manage to bring a little extra tidbit of information or show it being used a slightly different way. And that's where, the DIY tubers can really differentiate themselves. By doing the challenge, you're not focusing on the products. You're not focusing on what product you're using or trying to do a review of a product. You're focusing on the techniques. And that is something that we don't see, as far as I'm concerned, enough of on YouTube. Eileen?
For sure.
Sorry for
appreciation, right? That's what we were discussing. So I think for me, my newfound appreciation is the editing part of it. I kind of did some editing. Obviously, I had some videos on my channel prior to this, but I think the appreciation of editing, although it is kind of like a thorn in my side sometimes, it is definitely kind of a learning growth kind of thing for me. It's part of the whole process that I'm not totally versed in. So learning the different programs and the different features and how I can tweak this and tweak that, and I think has been probably the part of it that I appreciate the most of it.
Yeah, for me, it's a couple of things. I think one, to Ivan's point, like I do a lot of product reviews in my channel. I always have. Those videos generally do very well. But what I've learned through the experience, because I think I have the least experience with all the different things in detailing, is just how to do a better job and use less product. For example, when I went through an entire bottle of rinseless in one day, it probably wasn't. I'm sure Ivan was like,
"What? That was big to watch."
Ooh, that should have lasted you a little longer than that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like those things are good. Just learning that stuff, and then I can pass that on to when I'm making those mistakes, I get to pass that on, and I think that's great because there's lots of people like me who don't have a lot of experience and would probably make that same exact mistake, and now maybe they won't, and I think that's cool. And then the last thing is, like, as much time as we talk about spending doing this weekend, I was reminded, don't forget to spend time with your family as well. And like, I was like, oh, we're going to go make this video this weekend. And my wife was like, I think we should spend some time together. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to do the video. We're going to spend some time together instead. So just remembering to have that balance, like you should for all work life, and keeping that as well. Yeah.
And one thing you mentioned, you do a lot of reviews on your channel, Ben, and not for detailing products, but everything overlanding. Reviews tend to, the video hits harder in the beginning, but dies off quickly and basically dies at some point. Whereas educational video, they just keep the channel going forward and people refer back to them. So that's something that a lot of content creators are worried about. Oh, this video only got 1,000 views, or this video only got 500 views. But if you look at it 2 years later, the review that you did that got 10,000 reviews the first week, it's at 12,000. The one that got 500 the first week is now at 15,000. So that's where, you need to, there's a bit of patience. It's a long game as opposed to a short game.
Can I add to that actually?
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Oh, so sorry. And I did want to point out that very thing as I was listening to everybody. What I believe makes DIYDetail is going to be the most successful detailing brand and the best is because they educate you on how to use all their products, the 100 different ways they can be used in 100 different variables, convertibles, matte paint, old barn. Like they showcase every way that the product can be used versus other lines. They may have great products, but they never explain how to use it, when you can use it, the circumstances, the variables. So people are not educated, and it makes people become product dependent versus skill dependent. And so the difference is, as a professional, I can take the cheapest off the Walmart Armor All, let's say. I can take
Yeah.
Armor All products and produce a masterpiece, showcase ready, versus someone else who is just, what's the best this and what's I like. Of course, it's fun, but like Ivan said, it does get annoying where people are like, oh, the best this, the best that, and this and this and that. But it's like people become dependent on the product, and then they don't have this, not on the skill itself. And if you can master how to use one product, if you learn how to master it, it's much better than trying to find other products to do the thing that that one product could do if you knew how to use it properly in the different circumstance that it does. And sorry, I'm talking a long time, but the second thing that Ivan mentioned is I get on a daily basis when I wake up, even though I'm a small channel, people answering to videos that I posted 2-3 years ago, because those videos were centered on education rather than on products. It's like how to remove a stain in this, how to clean Alcantara. This morning, it was about removing decal residue, and I posted a video how to remove. Someone asked me, "Hey, I have this." Da, 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 da. So it does benefit for you better in the long run if you focus on education more than. So I do want to also tag on Ivan with that for sure.
Yeah, your hard work will pay off if you put the extra work into that shot and that edit and that video, and you do a good job. It could literally pay you for years to come. I don't get a lot on these videos, but I have a video about like how to remove road tar from when I was detailing out of my garage. Before I went mobile, before I had shop number 1, before I had shop number 2, before I stopped detailing as a business. Like this was a long time ago.
Wow.
And it's like my highest performing video, and I still get residuals every month. So just know that, like you could do a really good job, and it will require some sacrifice on the front end, but it might actually pay off for months and months and years if it really hits. So it's worth making it good,
Definitely agree. And the process piece is important. That, like I said, that's what I'm learning, because I think for people who do like to try products, if you have a good process, you can find the right products for that process, as Ivan has said before. Or you can try once you know the process, you can actually better evaluate if that product fits into that process and works or not, which is also important, rather than like, yeah, this is pretty slick, I guess. So must be good. And a lot of times that's kind of how my channel is sometimes, right? Like, this is slick, this is slick. I don't know. Pick whichever one you like. This one smells better, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
I know the more products I try, the thoughts that keep going in my head is that this actually is more similar than that product than they are different. So now I have to keep thinking about how can I differentiate them and then bring a little information, but then these videos just kind of become more entertainment than education. So I think to some degree people like to watch them for entertainment.
Yeah. And one thing this industry has today is that no company can afford to make a bad product. If they make a bad product, you are going to hear about it. And, it used to be that any press is good press. That has disappeared. That is a saying that belongs in the early, late 1999, early 2000s. Today, it's you need to get the good reviews or no review at all. No review is better than a bad review. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that, the marketing has changed over the years, and, bad press or good press is press. That isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah, you don't want to get canceled, right?
No. Yeah, the cancel culture. That's the word. Thank you.
It sounds like the $30 coding a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yes. So speaking of products, let's transition into those a little bit. DIYDetail, I just announced some new products at SEMA, and I'm excited about some of them. So we want you to talk a little bit about those, and then we're going to talk about which ones might be our favorites, or which we're most excited about, I guess.
Well, probably the biggest launch is our new tools. And just give me a second. Keep talking, Nick. I'll be back.
Well, our cordless polishers, which Ivan will very soon unveil, we're very excited about that. We're just as a small update, we're finally releasing gallons of water spot remover, which people have been asking for
Oh,
a
that's
long
exciting.
time. Yeah, and our wax is coming out pretty soon as well, Ivan.
Yeah. So the first thing that we're showing at SEMA is this. So this is our cordless polisher, and you'll notice there's a big difference than any other cordless polisher, and that's the battery placement. That battery placement looks weird. People look at it and go, "That thing is ugly." But once they put it in their hands and start using it, that mindset changes completely. The the few things that bothered me about cordless tools, and I've been in the power tool industry for many years, since the 80s, so before most of you were born. Anyways, I've been in the power tool industry a long time, and I've been working on this design for about 5 years. The whole goal of this was the ergonomics of most cordless tools in the industry are not correct. They put your hand, the trigger too close to the front, so your hands are too close together, just to find a place to put the battery. And you've seen it, you've seen all of them. The battery's back here. So with the battery back there, the weight's in the wrong place. First of all, your hands are too close together, and there's all sorts of other little inconveniences with the battery there. Whereas now your hands are actually on the handles where they're supposed to be. They're a proper spacing for shoulder width spacing, everything like that. So the ergonomics are there. The looks, it's debatable, but there's other companies recently that have released power tools, and not just in the detailing space, but they realize so much that people are holding on to the battery that they've rubber coated the battery to make it, they know they're holding it there. And to me, that's like sort of a stopgap measure. It's not the best idea. Nick mentioned gallons, and the other thing that we've changed dramatically is our coatings. So our coatings, all coatings have been renewed. We've removed the forever chemicals in the coating, so the PFASs are gone, which for me is a great thing. We've been working with a chemist since the beginning to do this, but the chemistry, the chemistry, the testing, all that takes a lot of time. And now we're at that point where we're releasing those. So that probably our second biggest SEMA release is that.
And these are more robust coatings, Ivan. Like, people are going to love these. They're not just removing the PFAs.
No, we were able to improve the coating not only on a health and safety standard, but also the performance of them. So, but the ease of application remains the same. We can still stack the 3 and the 5 and the 3, or the 8 and the 3. Those characteristics have stayed, but we've improved the beading, we've improved the contact angle, we've improved the durability, and the of course, health and safety. So.
I love
That's
it that we're
awesome.
always working behind the scenes to improve. I know every brand is doing that, and I hope everyone is excited about their favorite brands. It's just so you know, like, this isn't just hype. Like, when we first came out with our coatings, we just had to get them into people's hands and get them used, and then people were like, "Oh, we love these." So just give it some time. Once you get these in your hands and you're trying them, you'll understand. But if you believe what we have to say, I know it's hard because we still have the 3 and the 5 and the 8-year coating. So it's like, how do you rebrand that, Ivan? But I'm excited for these, and I hope folks love them too.
We have better boxes now too, so we've improved the box. We listen to what people have as far as concerns and do our best to address them. But sometimes the chemistry won't allow us to address it, and or it would change something too dramatically. But in this case, we've been able to address the concerns people had with our coatings and our packaging. So we're moving forward. So of those announcements, Oscar, what's your the one you want to try first?
The polisher for sure. Yeah, I actually wanted to try the polisher you guys currently have, the corded one, just because it's 25 millimeters on the throw, which is like the biggest. I've never seen anything close. I use a 15, so even a 21 would be kind of a new experience for me. But a 25, I don't know. I must cut the polishing time in shorter with
Yep.
the bigger throw. So yeah, I would love to try that one out. And now that it's cordless, even better.
Yeah.
How long would you say the battery on one charge of battery for polishing?
So the battery longevity is very user dependent. And if you're using it in the way we teach, which is no pressure, low speed, you're going to get more than one car out of a battery. And the other little bit of technology we have is actually the battery charger itself. We've gone to an 8 amp charge, which is fairly high in the industry. And we load the battery or charge it very quickly for the first 80%. And then that last 20%, we slow down the charge rate just to fill in all the little, missing holes. So that is one thing. So if you do run the battery down quickly, or for some reason you forgot to put it on the charger, well, it'll only take 15 to 20 minutes to get it to 80%.
Will, what do you think? What are you
Well,
excited about?
Definitely want to try the polisher because when DIY Detail came out with the quartered ones, I couldn't use them because I live in an apartment. I don't have outlets. So now that you're coming out with a cordless one, I definitely want to get my hands on them, and especially when they're 25 millimeters. One question I do have is that for users that don't have Makita batteries, which is what you use for the new DIY polishers, right?
Yeah.
I have a bunch of DeWalt batteries. How can I use that on the new DIY
Yeah. So
polishers?
Amazon sells little adapters. They're inexpensive and they slide into the tool, and then you can slide either, you can get them for DeWalt, you can get them for Milwaukee, for Bosch. So you can adapt different batteries to different tools. And they're made for power tools, but they'll work just as well with the polisher.
Okay, so it wouldn't decrease performance, something like that.
No.
Okay, that's cool. So definitely want to try out the polishers and the coating too. I didn't know that you guys are gonna update your coatings. And one thing that you did mention with DIY coatings is that I started learning how to install ceramic coatings on DIY coatings. So I was very used to that easy installation. So when I branched out and tried other coatings, I realized how easy DIYDetail coatings were, and then I was very surprised. And now I was kind of now I kind of get why people were warning people when they installed ceramic coatings, they got to be more careful. So, I highly recommend, if you have not installed ceramic coatings before, definitely try DIYDetail coatings, because definitely the easiest one out there.
That's good to hear.
And I would agree.
Eileen?
I mean, I would join you guys with the polisher. I would love to use the polisher. I use a 21 now, so using a 25 would be pretty amazing. And the drip catcher is one that I'm super excited about. I do a bunch of Jeeps, so that would come in handy for detailing a Jeep.
You need about 15 of those.
Yeah.
the tail lights, the door handles, the hinges,
Everything,
the mirrors,
the whole thing.
The funny part about that is
Just
you
put a
can
microfiber
also
on the
take
ground, drive the Jeep onto it, and you're fine.
Yeah.
Ben, I guess your turn.
Yeah. So for me, I'm excited about the polishers. I have a question about them. But another product that you didn't talk about was your pad washer,
Ah, yes.
Oh yeah, we forgot to
which
mention.
I'm
that. And
also
the
excited
wax,
about because I
really.
looked into that
Yeah.
thing and I was like, holy Moses, that thing's expensive for a pad washer, the original one. And I was like, I just can't do that. But I think I could spend some money on this one. So I don't know if you want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so the pad washer, simple, no moving parts. I tried to simplify the pad washer as much as possible, but still having it as a usable thing. And, a lot of the pad washers on the market are the solutions that people have for cleaning pads. They'll put it in a bowl, and we've shown this on videos as well. You don't need to buy the $200 pad washer. You can just, dunk your pad in a pie plate, for that matter, and massage it a little bit and spin it out. What we've done with the pad washer is we've taken the massaging and the spinning out and made that into the pad washer. The product, or the rinseless wash, when you put it on the pad, you're going to use your favorite sprayer, whether it be a battery powered sprayer, a pump sprayer, or just a trigger nozzle. A little bit of rinseless wash, and then the base of the pad washer, because of the shape of it, actually converts the pad into a pump. So it makes the foam of the pad go up and down. So it pumps the liquid into the pad, and then you just lift it up a 1/4 inch, spin it out. We don't include a bucket with it. It'll fit any 3.5 to 6 gallon bucket that's pretty much standardized in the industry. So 11 1/4 inch opening, which is standard. It'll clips onto that, so you can use your own bucket. If you want to use a 3.5 gallon, if you want to use a 6 gallon, a 5 gallon, a 4 gallon, it's up to you. And you can choose your own color of bucket, which is nice. But so no moving parts, very simple, and a lot less expensive, and made in the USA. So
Awesome.
with our friends at Grit Guards.
No, Ivan.
So I'm excited
when can
about
we
that.
expect
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
get these on our hands?
So the polisher is not going to be till April. So March at the earliest, but we're being realistic. April. The pad washer might be January. So you won't be seeing these as the DIY tubers, but you will be seeing. We neglected to do this. We'll send you out some drip catchers, so you'll all have them in the next couple days. We'll get that done for you. But then the drip catcher isn't a new thing for us. It's something coming back. It's
Yeah.
something that's been out of stock for a long
I've
time.
been waiting for it, Ivan, for so long.
Yeah, and it's green, Eileen, just so you know.
I know, it's perfect.
There-
It's like
Yeah.
destiny. It's meant to be.
Yeah.
They are gimmicky and they are useful, right? Because you
Yeah,
think they're
for sure.
gimmicky, and then you get them, and then you use them, and you're like, these are amazing. And all you have to do is just buy the magnets, just hang them up, anywhere on a cabinet or whatever. And then they're just there. You grab them when you're done with the wash, and you put them there. And it's like, I'm a big important detailer. I've detailed many fancy cars. I don't need one of these. And then you're like, these are kind of nice to have. I kind of like it. So they're just nice to have. They're all the things. Just get a 2-pack and you won't regret it. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll send those out to you, but a lot of new things, and we have a lot of other things coming down the line. But the polishers, like I said, April. The coatings are available now. So that's part of our SEMA introduction and our Black Friday is the new coatings are there. They're available, so people can start trying them out. But that's and then I don't know. Are we releasing something else at SEMA, Nick?
It's
No,
the
that's it.
wax.
Oh, the wax, yeah. So the wax probably January as well.
Cool.
But of course,
What's the wax? Like
just
like a regular cream
a
wax?
good Carnauba wax that
Okay.
provides very minimal protection because it actually is a wax. It's not a sealant, it's not long term, but it provides filling ability, and it does so with ease. So it's something that your father or your grandfather that was used to waxing cars will go, oh wow, it's gotten easier. That's what we want to do. But at the same time, if they happen to touch the trim, it's not going to turn it white. If they forget it on a panel because the phone rang and come back out an hour later, it's not concrete on the panel, it still wipes off. So little thing. We've tried to simplify a wax, but to me, the important part of a wax and what attracts me to a wax is the filling ability. So that filling ability is there. So you're taking your car to Cars and Coffee Saturday morning, Friday afternoon, or Friday night. Put a nice little layer of wax on it. It's going to fill those minor hazing, and you'll be the best looking car the next morning.
Nice.
Awesome.
And it's meditative. Waxing is fun, actually. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
It's too much work, Ivan.
Yeah.
Too much work. Once you
I've
learn
never
you can
waxed a car
spray
before.
something on and wipe it, and that protects the paint. Waxing's a different beast. It's a lot easier to spray up a coat than wax, which I learned
It
because
is.
I didn't really put on wax. Although it's not too bad if you put it on with like a rotary jeweling pad, on low speeds. Like I don't mind applying wax that way.
Yeah. But it's
You
still
gotta do it the old school way,
Still work.
Nick. The little circles all over.
Yeah,
Wax
The
on,
hand
wax
wax.
off.
By hand.
Yeah.
Will, have you
there
ever
you
applied
go.
a wax?
No, I have never applied wax before.
Yeah. Because you're the youngest one of the crew, so yeah.
Yeah.
Ivan, you were saying
Experience.
something just a minute ago about SEMA. What were we missing there?
Oh, just what what products did I miss, and that was the wax. So yeah,
Gotcha.
but SEMA's a lot of fun. If you can ever get there, you need to register in advance. It's not something that you just show up and walk in. No matter how much money you have, you're not going to walk in there. It's last year we had a little kerfuffle with the badges, and a security check at the airport is much easier than getting into SEMA.
Yeah.
Or
They
trying
don't mess around at SEMA.
Yeah. Like trying to get through security with an AK-47 at the airport might be easier than getting into SEMA without pre-registering. So it's that, they're that critical about getting people in. So that is one thing, but pre-register, make sure Oscar and Eileen, you have businesses, so it's easier for you, but do it a year in advance or 6 months in advance. For those that don't have a business, find a detailer, find a garage owner that that can get you in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
SEMA looks cool for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. But you don't go there to look at shiny cars, because from a detailer's perspective, they need work.
Yeah.
All right, so last question for everybody. We'll mix two of them together. So it's, what advice would you give others who might want to apply for the DIYTuber program, or YouTube in general, want to start making videos? And then, because we do get this question pretty often, what do we use to create our videos with? And just, you can talk like maybe what the programs are, whatnot, from there. And I guess I'll start. I can start, no problem. So for me, the tip for applying would just be, you know what, be you. I think that's the other thing we've learned, because we've all supported each other a ton here, and we all have different styles, and that's okay. So you have to be yourself. So I think that's important. And then I think the other pieces are, you know, the educational piece of longevity and practicing on camera, that kind of stuff, so you feel comfortable on camera. Those are important too. And then the last one's like audio, because I think there was somebody I had suggested, you know, look at one of these mics, like a DJI mic or something like that, for your videos, just because they ended up getting too far from their camera and then you couldn't hear them. And if you can't hear people, like, the audio is almost more important to me than the video pieces a lot of the time. So having some good audio so you can still hear what's going on, no matter what the video shows, because you can always shoot B-roll later on and fill it in over the top. And B-roll, for people who are who are not into YouTube, is just the sort of the stuff that's going on in the background where you want to zoom into something or make it kind of interesting while you're talking in the background. And that's basically what that is. You see that all the time. And then as far as an editor goes, I've used in the past a long time, I used Final Cut Pro forever. And basically, because I bought it in 2011, it's still, you know, I haven't had to pay any extra money for it since then. But I've recently got into CapCut, like Oscar mentioned earlier. And that has drastically reduced the time it's taken me to make videos, because they have a really good feature in there where you hit a transcript button, it puts the transcript up next to the video, and you can just cut the words out until you get exactly what you need. And that is so fast for editing, because I repeat myself so many times in a video. Like, if I had to do a video for 10 minutes and I couldn't make an edit, it wouldn't be nearly as good as the finished product at the end. So when you guys do your videos and you don't have any cuts, it's pretty amazing to watch that. But that's one of the reasons why I use CapCut. That, plus it has lots of good effects in terms of stickers and things that I don't have to worry about making, which Final Cut just, they haven't had. And I've not really tried some of the other ones. So that's me, but I'll pass it over to Eileen.
Okay, so I use two different programs. I use CapCut and I use DaVinci. And I kind of swap between the two depending on what I want to do with the videos. And then in terms of advice for future DIY tubers, I think as long as your goal is to grow your channel and you're dedicated to that goal, I think with anything comes work. So as long as you're motivated to put the work into it, then you'll get back what you give. So that's my advice.
So, so for me is I used to use Apple iMovie, but it's very simple and it doesn't have much editing software or just settings and stuff like that. It's very straightforward. But I switched over recently to CapCut, which is much better, and like it has a lot more tools that help you out. It has AI, like some crazy awesome AI stuff. So I think, and I've heard and seen, I just don't use DaVinci and Final Cut. But out of all of them, the most user friendly and like for a beginner to learn, I think CapCut is the one to go for. And then the second question was advice. So I would just say you have to keep going. I've been doing videos for almost 4 years, and there's definitely been so many times where like there's no point because I wasn't monetized, so I wasn't making any money. So imagine you spend 4 to 6 hours on a video, it gets a couple hundred. Lucky if it's good, it'll get a couple thousand, right? I have some videos that so you feel very discouraged, and you do feel like, well, there's already a lot of people doing it, but you just have to keep going. You have to keep going. You cannot quit. And my motivation to anyone who is in our shoes is I just got my first check off of monetization this past week. So it felt awesome. You know, finally I get to see
Nice.
some reward from all the hard work. And as Nick was mentioning earlier, it just accumulates over time if you make the right video, like focusing on education and just something that will be future proof in a sense. But yeah, just you have to have that tough skin of like, you're not gonna see results. It's not for the short gain. It's like for the long term, and you have to just think about it like that. And also some videos where you spend so much time on all the intricate details, and you think the thumbnail was like on fire, it was everything was on point. You're like, for sure this is gonna blow up, and does it? And it doesn't. And the video that I have with the most views in, I didn't think anything of it. I just working one day on the truck. I put the camera and I'm like, just talk through the whole way. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. And it got the most views. So you just never know which video is gonna do well. So do your best on all videos, but don't have that expectancy, because the disappointment can be real when you spend so much time on a specific video and it does not perform. It could be the time of the day. It could be the day of the week. It could be so many variables that are in a way out of your control, even if you study all the analytics. But again, just having that perseverance to keep going.
Wow. Congrats,
Well-
Oscar, on your first check.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, for me, for a majority of my video, I use DaVinci Resolve, and I will agree with Oscar. It certainly takes a little bit of a learning curve to get into it, and if you're not so familiar with these creative tools, then CapCut is definitely the most user friendly, and it's got the automated features that will make your life a lot easier, which I do use for some of my shorts that have caption. So aside from what I use advice, so I don't have a lot of advice, but one thing I did learn, or at least coming in, is that coming into DIYTuber, you do want to have a certain level of commitment, because this is something that Yvan and Nick, they give us this opportunity to grow, and we only get 3 months of it, so it's your chance to give it all you got, of course within your limits, but we are required to come up with a video every week and then 2 shorts, so it does take a certain level of time. So if you're just thinking that I want to make some videos but I don't really know where I'm going with it, maybe this might not be right for you. But if you do want to take this as an opportunity to take your already existing channel to the next step, then it's an excellent opportunity.
Thanks,
We
Will.
use
Appreciate that.
Final Cut Pro.
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if you were asking us or.
Yes, two. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we use Final Cut Pro. I used to use Premiere, but I use Final Cut now, and it works well. And I would just say perfect is the enemy of good, or is that the right saying? I just say steady
works.
progress is far better than perfection. Like this whole OCD perfection thing that we all have as detailers that I still every day need to learn to get out of my own way on. It's like, just try to keep improving steadily, 1% at a time, whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect today. That'll just stop you from getting anything done. And once you kind of give yourself that freedom and forgiveness to not be perfect, it kind of opens up your wavelength to just, let me get something done today. Let me be proud of something in this video. And and that could be in anything in life. So this whole idea that it has to be perfect is ridiculous.
Yeah. For me, my editing is called Sylvie. That's my editing software.
That's just
I don't use a computer. I just use my phone. So every piece of communication you get from me is not on a computer. It's on a phone. So that's just me. I'm not the editor in the bunch. And of course, Nick does a lot of the editing. From there, my piece of advice is, the DIYTuber program is designed to make you better YouTubers and to show the importance of education, to show the importance of the group aspect of it as well. The reason behind DIYTuber for us was to get more educational content on YouTube that is not brand related. And I know, it's sponsored by a brand, but as you know, have we told you in any video to use, a brand or product? No. And if you use other brands, that's fine as well. We provided product to you, but we don't, we're not forcing you to make videos with those products if you don't want to. It's just a matter of, we want more educational content on YouTube, and education centered around how do I do this, not what product should I use to do this.
That's all great advice from everybody. And I would also challenge the audience, when you watch this, to leave questions in the comments for us that we can respond to, or we could do a follow-up video towards the end of all this, which we had planned anyway, or a couple of them if you think that it's worth it, to share more information with everybody. Because again, we want to educate, and I think that's important too. So leave those comments. Let us know what your thoughts are and what questions you have in the future. But I want to say thank you to everybody for being on tonight, and I had a blast. This was fun, and it's funny how quick time goes. We were aiming for 30 minutes, and we were already at 50. So definitely want to make sure people have some time with their families tonight. And I appreciate all of you and all the comments you've given to each other and to me. And just like, it's such a growing experience. It's a great community. And I appreciate you all. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Have a great night, everybody. And don't forget to live your life in beta.